smash Canada with the dreads or a death block. Cut it out. But being the man I am, I tried to show you mercy. I could have told the world the way you label hates your guts.
I know it's always people out there.
Hey, he did bust his ass on some other shit. He just lost the popularity contest.
Who?
Cannabis.
Right.
L body that nigga. Cut it out.
He got some shit that you probably ain't even heard. He got some shit.
You probably thought
nigga, cannabis came from my high school. Stop it. I know everything about cannabis.
You thought MC Hammer was spitting L16s back in the day. No, you be giving some.
He like, this is coming from the guy who said Eric's sermons, Marvin Gaye, just like music song is garbage. Really?
I didn't say it was just.
That is one of the wackiest shits I've ever heard in my life.
Did I say it was garbage?
Yes, you did.
You said you didn't like it.
Right, I never said it was
you
garbage.
saying you don't like it is basically saying it's garbage.
No, I didn't say that.
Cut it out.
It's somewhere in the field.
Cut it.
This
is what we coming into right here.
Hey, Steph is stuck in the 90s, yo.
I love the 90s. I love the 90s music is the best music.
Hey, Steph, come on, Steph.
I fuck with the new music, but 90s music, they just take you back home.
That's it, baby. We gonna go back home tonight. We go home. We gotta know, hey, what you say?
But bitch, I'm gonna take cowboy boots. I did you beating ball bang. Barbecue, crack a thing. Coming for no dumb shit.
That did it, right?
You think it's one of the hardest niggas lyrics in the
Cowboys.
Hey, smoke a blunt, put off for some bitch. I ain't no
fuck your bitch.
I ain't gon' drown
if you can't hear what we hear,
the fucking funny pussy up in the stomach, sitting in the front cause TV's running.
was a great artist. Definitely, and Mystical has some shit.
I must have kidnapped the nigga bad cause I heard him hollering, hold on,
but I just feel like Steph really listens to some. I understand that.
Let's DJ one day.
I let Steph. Hey, Steph, we gonna have that DJ basketball. If you want to party,
to the south.
hey,
So pop, bop, little bop, bitch, watch out.
right, that was the illest part. Hey, if you want somebody to DJ a 40-and-over barbecue
turn me on.
or family black celebration, I'm definitely going with Steph. There's at least 35, 40 and over.
Now, if you want some type D1,
This bitch can't handle it. Motherfucker, this shit down.
man do it.
Hey,
I ain't playing
I'm being honest. He was like a DJ for a 40-and-over club.
You know real music.
Yeah. Hey, it's always that.
So do what you're supposed to do. Give me a break.
That's what I'm saying. Step in the house party rocker. DJ Steph, house party rocker.
You remember when I did
I was like 15. What I'm saying is that's what this type of music is. I'm not saying it's not.
DJ Steph.
But yeah, DJ steps up. Put me in live. At the 40-and-over club.
Community DJ holler at you, man. I got you.
Guess the Pins is my sugar man.
Look at you over there with this.
Hey, we got
Hey, yo, like real.
These people ain't living the time I've been in my fucking land.
Hey, I thought we was coming into yo, we live. We live. So we switch it up. Okay, switch it up.
So do what you're supposed to do.
We don't end it on the top.
Just like I told you.
I mean, they see what we do. Hey, so whenever you're ready,
So do what.
And what it do?
live from the pit that don't give a shit.
This is Fuck Your Opinion, the podcast.
We back, bitches.
Yes, it is. Your man, Toucan Dan.
I'm Don Gotti Nash.
Your man, Step Lover.
And I'm Savage Taz.
Savage Taz, Step Lover. Don Gotti Nash, Toucan Dan.
He coming this joint with
Yeah, he gonna be in that motherfucker doing.
I mean, I got him, yeah, you know.
Get all high and shit and get it singing.
Put on some.
Hey, but I get this thing out the motherfucking microphone.
Who is this guy?
Who is this nigga?
Listen, I never said I was a DJ. Myself,
Who is this nigga?
I'm just saying step DJing for the 40 and over club.
That's what I do.
You know, there's nothing wrong with
You
that.
gotta remember.
Grandmas like to dance too.
Listen, you gotta remember something. If your grandmother 40,
Yeah.
if your grandmother 40,
Step gonna get on the dance floor.
she was starting.
She gonna get
Shit,
nasty.
man, grandmother's young now.
That's what I'm saying. She was starting.
Yeah, I mean, most grandmothers. Let me tell you something.
There's nothing wrong with
Now,
that.
this is what I found out throughout history too. Most grandmothers and people just don't want to admit it was starting at some point
Oh,
in
yeah,
time.
everybody grandmother was
Because
starting.
I mean, you be like, wow, my grandmother had 9 kids. By the time
Yes.
she was 30, you start counting back. By the time she was 35, she had 9 kids. Wait a minute, Grandma, you had your first kid at 15?
And then she had 5 baby fathers.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, you grandma.
wait a minute, I got a lot of cousins,
I
Grandma.
got a lot of motherfucking cousins.
I got a lot of cousins. And then you know what she said? But things was different then, baby.
And
That's
then-
what she said. Things was
And
different
then
then, baby.
all the baby fathers, the ones that she ain't with, they call uncle. Uncle Eddie, Uncle Cecil,
Uncle, yeah.
Uncle Amos.
Uncle,
Like
yeah.
them old nigga names.
Uncle Abner, that's your uncle.
Uncle Earl.
Uncle Earl, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uncle Rodney, that's your Uncle Earl. That's your
Them
Uncle
old
Rodney.
nigga names.
So that's Big Mama friend from years back.
But what's going on, people? We got Instagram, we got Facebook.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And YouTube, we're gonna drop it on YouTube next tonight, right?
No, YouTube live, man.
We live.
We live everywhere.
Facebook.
Facebook, can YouTube hear the music?
They hear everything. Everybody don't on Instagram.
Can they hear this? Fuck your opinion.
Yeah, they can hear it.
All right, bet. Let's go.
Let's mic check that.
Let's
one
get
time.
it. Mic check, mic check.
Check,
How we
check.
sound out there? We good? We good?
Yo, hey, thanks for tuning in once again, friends and family, to Fuck Your Opinion.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. If you don't know, I'm going to give you a quick rundown. We always tackle the toughest topics. Boom! That was on the first line. And we just bring it to the real. I mean, sometimes you might not like our opinions. We might not like yours. We might go right. Might go left. But we always do what, fellas? Get right
Back to the middle.
right back
in the
right back on the motherfucking line. If you don't like any of what I just said,
Fuck your opinion.
there you think, Don. See that? That's
I heard that shit. I knew it was coming.
There you go. That's-
I
that's
felt
right.
that shit. I'm in the middle of some shit and I felt it.
That's what I'm saying. So, let's get into our little. We always, if you don't know, we go to entertainment, sports, some politics, a little science. I'm liable to come with the fuck whatever. But we always got some good shit to talk about because somebody always doing some good shit. Speaking of good shit, Bootsy Badass, one of my favorite characters on the show.
Back with Bootsy.
Hey, Boosie that man. I ain't gonna
One
lie
of
to
my
with
favorite
Bootsy.
characters
Can't stay
on
out
this
the
show.
That's
But he's not a character. Shout outs to Bootsy. He a real dude. I mean, you know, I mean, I don't really know the man, but from what I see, hey, Bootsy do
He's
him.
an interesting character.
And he's very respectable as far as however his life goes.
Oh,
His
he a
children.
real nigga.
He do what he got to do.
Trail nigga. But
Sometimes Bootsy keep it a little too real.
Yeah, a little bit too.
If you don't know, Bootsy Badass got a little bit of a backlash. He got a little hot water. Bootsy always been in hot water for speaking his opinion. He is one of the grand wizards of Fuck Your Opinion because he declares whatever the fuck he wants to declare. He speaks from the heart. He speaks his mind. And if you don't like what he got to say, he'll tell you quick, fuck your opinion. But Bootsy got some serious shit on his hands. He came out and said he basically paid grown women to have sex.
No, did he say pay?
Oh.
I don't think he said pay.
He said he got a grown woman to give his
There we go.
son. Because if it's Bootsy, she probably didn't pay because we ain't gonna lie about that.
It's probably same.
Hey, what's going
I
on?
mean, he got to pay for their time, man.
Hey, what's going on, Anthony Hall?
He said he got, but basically,
everybody joining us.
Everybody join.
he said he got his son is 14 and he got an adult woman to give him fellatio, take it to the dome and take it home.
That sloppy
what's
talk.
going on,
Hey,
Ashley
hey,
Jones?
hey,
I'm sorry,
right up
12
right on us ad though. It's a good fucking dad, man. What
12
the
or
fuck?
13.
What the fuck?
Man, what?
No. Listen, we have to get into that. You know, the
It
whole.
depends on
Was
what
he
you
a good
look at.
dad? Was he? You know,
Listen, he said, I'm training these boys right. He said in the live or Instagram live session, if you ever watch Boosie's Instagram live, he's going to give you what you want. I'm training these boys right. I'm training these boys right. That's what he said. Ask any of my nephews. Ask any of them. Ask my son. Yeah, when they was 12 or 13, they got head. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Hell yeah, I got my fucking son's dick sucked. You fucking right. Yes, a grown woman, a super grown, checked his ass out. So checked all my nephews out, super grown. Is she grown? Check me out. I know what the fuck she did to him. She checked me out. That bitch, I'm getting them prepared, man. If you don't know what Boosie meant by that, because some people like, what the? That was line for line. So, ebonically speaking,
You see that? Is that pause? That
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, let me see. You know,
so ebonically speaking, Boosie is saying that
But it's
yes,
not plugged in either, though.
all of his close male figures in his household, when they turn 12 or 13 years old, when they become basically at the point of becoming a man, by whatever standards people set, he go get him some head, and he says she checked everybody out, checked them out. She checked out the whole team.
Now,
So she got everybody tightened up, and she
let me just say this. That could be one of the greatest fucking presents a son, a nephew, a little cousin could get, right? That is like one of them things that could be an amazing present from your dad, your uncle.
yeah.
Or it can be a complete fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Cause back in the day, my uncle used to rhyme me about getting some pussy.
Yeah. Now back in the day,
they used to ask you.
let me clarify what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this is what happened with Boosie and his children and his cousins and nephews. What I'm saying is, back in our days, I'm 40. This was our younger cousin here. We did a lot of things that would not seem normal in today's standings, in today's times.
Right.
What I'm saying is, back then, you could take your little cousin and you could go run a train on him. You get a crack. A lot of niggas in the hood or somewhat hood suburbs. First piece of ass was from a crackhead.
oh my god.
Y'all know that. Come cut it out. Y'all
I mean,
know damn well.
I would say more in
And
the
I'm not
hood
gonna,
region.
let me not use the word crackhead.
Maybe in the hood region.
A
A
drug
drug addict or a woman who likes
might even
to get
smoke
high,
weed
and
or anything.
by her getting high, she would give the
Exchange.
And
the
if
trade.
you- Listen, and if you don't know,
If you don't know what a choo-choo is,
that was your first lesson in hood economics.
choo-choo
okay?
train. A lot of youngsters in the hood.
That's not hood economics 101, but that will be a part of the class.
A lot of people in the hood though got their first
Yeah, a lot of
piece.
people.
The only problem though is he just shouldn't have said nothing about it. That shit is supposed
Well,
to.
no.
That shit.
What I was getting to, you're right.
That's
What
the
I
only
was gonna
problem.
Get to
Yeah, he
is,
should have kept that quiet.
let's just say that he basically said the female sucked everybody, right?
Right.
Blessed everybody. Rock the mic.
Rock the
Rock
Jackson
the mic.
5
Sloppy
style.
top.
The sloppy toppy.
Jackson 5 style. The whole
She blessed the microphone.
the whole
Blessed the
band.
mic. But this is the problem I'm getting at. In today's society, it's so much shit going on as far as diseases. Now, you could have had her checked out. She could have been checked out great. No diseases, right? But she just went and slobbed everybody in the house. So now she done sucked Uncle Eddie's dick. Uncle Eddie got the coronavirus.
and Lil Eddie.
And little Eddie.
Everybody, listen.
So now you don't.
I mean, but
I'm not saying that's what happened.
No,
Nah,
listen.
the thing that you talking about though, I think that happened some years ago. That ain't just happened.
Oh, it ain't just happened now.
Nah, it's just that.
I mean, that's
he
just
started
no.
talking
He said
about-
that on his live.
And I'm not saying that the
Yeah,
coronavirus.
he
Monday.
He been said that though. It just came back out again. He brought up the subject because his son's not 13 right now. His son's a little older than 13.
Tootsie Raw is older same, but like 14 years old.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe it was a couple of years ago where he.
And I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it could be a
listen,
great thing or it could be a bad thing.
Listen,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Let me further this. Let me further what Boosie also claimed
You claim something else?
that he taught his sons how to put on a condom when they was 9 and 10 years
I mean,
old.
I
That's
respect that.
respect.
That's
Okay,
understandable.
listen, let me finish. He said that's how I raised them. He said he even allows his kids to watch porn. He said it's better than watching cartoons. That's why they have iPhones 11. They can watch as much porn.
Hey
as
yo,
they want.
I'm not even gonna front. I watch
Let me
porn.
finish.
They've been watching porn since
We got finish. Let me
Shit.
finish his statement now.
No.
He said they can watch as much porn as they want. It's better than watching cartoons with two men kissing. Yeah, it's like I'm raising them different. That's just how it is.
Listen,
He don't want his kids watching cartoons.
Hey yo, I used to have flicks. I used to have flicks on the Betamax back in the day, man. Cinderella.
hey, listen here, man.
I had this nasty Cinderella, and I wasn't even 10. Oh man.
Listen, it's one.
The snapper.
Listen, man. For a young kid, 8 to 12, to watch porn, that's common.
Right.
We do that. We find our uncles, our older
Yeah,
brothers. That's something you stick
speaking
into.
Hey,
But
remember the VHS? You had to leave it right at the part, so after you watch it, you gotta rewind it and leave it back in that part, because you know if you leave it
didn't want
enough,
nobody to know that you've been watching.
right. So you gotta count the numbers
And that's what I'm getting at. You know, to creep up on some shit like that as a kid is one thing. I'm not letting my 8-9-year-old son watch porn.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to parenting, everybody gonna do it the way they feel.
Yeah, they gonna do it.
Yeah. And it's not. I'm not gonna say the nigga wrong. I'm not saying
he's wrong.
Yeah. If that's what
I'm gonna do.
But everybody gonna raise your kids the way you want to raise them.
My son 9 and he be on his.
I mean,
I check his whole shit because I never know what he might be on.
Yeah, but you
I'm not
either
give it to him to go watch.
Yeah, you not. But you can either watch it with him.
But hey,
I mean,
if I see it, I'm like, all right. Well, at least I know he's going the right way. But I'm gonna like, you too young for this.
And that goes into the discussion with this. All right. Well, I know my 10, 11-year-old kid is smoking weed, so I'm gonna go ahead and smoke it with him because I'd rather him be safe. Nah, fuck no. How about he waits till he's like 14, 15, 16 at least.
17.
Be safe, 17, 18, be safe. Smoke it in my basement, maybe, you know what I'm saying? And then do it like that. But to say that, you know, me and AJ gonna sit down in the crib and watch a little porn, eat some popcorn, gotta teach him these moves so he can bust these bitches' backs open, knock the box out.
Yeah, because most of the time kids they gonna act that shit out.
I'm not saying that.
So the problem with some of that shit, like even that shit, like
kids are sponges.
Yeah, you'll see him like somebody on the ground and your kid just like
but listen,
you know what I'm saying?
That was
him acting out.
That was the point I was gonna make. Like, it's still a point of the psychological impact. Some might call it damage, some might not call it damage. But when you show a child at that age something to that degree,
they're sponges.
And then it desensitized. Like, the one thing that was about the sneaking part about it is you still felt like it was some part of that was wrong. So it kind of shaped the point of having some kind of sensibility about it. Once it's out in the open, like, this shit is free, fuck it, this is how people go, I think that kind of desensitizes the child, and it kind of gives it.
It depends on the child, man.
But you listen, children are always expecting it. When that shit comes to human nature, that changes.
What's up, champ?
The problem with that can be. The problem with that could be is because we all raise our kids differently. Somebody else is advanced to know. So if they ain't, I'm not saying you should show them to them, but I'm just saying, like, so if they going to school or they're around their friends that see that, or they seeing it, or their parents letting them do it, they're exposing that shit to you. So now
then by the time you're a kid, you basically trying to set yourself to have. I mean, you're gonna, like you say, you're gonna have to teach your kids or your sons, because nobody. This ain't no conversation about daughters.
And that's what I'm saying.
It's only about boys.
So I'm saying that's the risk you want.
That's a double standard. That's that bullshit.
But no, that's what I'm saying. This is not a conversation about what you like, because Boosie got like 4 or 5 daughters as well.
So what do you
expect? What do you expose your daughters to? Because
I mean, it's different shit. But
I'm saying is you condition yourself to be have a 15-year-old son with baby mamas, both, because everybody know how to put on the condom. God knows they've been around since damn near the 60s, but everybody got kids.
I bet you some niggas out there don't have to put on condoms.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Just some slow motherfuckers.
Well, that's the case, then, you know, that's what. Do you know how to put on a condom?
How many kids I got?
Right. So that's the one. So you know. You conditioning your kids, man, to be a way that. That's not something you really condition your kids to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
I don't do that.
Shit. I get down too now.
I got right. The nigga Chan Promo said, man, y'all wild, man.
And that's Boosie,
you're absolutely right, but this is Boosie. We were talking about Boosie getting his son, his nephew, some fellatio, some good sloppy toppy at 12, 13 years old.
I'm not saying I would do it. I'm not saying I would do it, but at the end of the day, Everybody gonna raise their kids differently. You might say, some people don't want their kids hearing somebody cuss. Somebody don't want to hear their kids.
You think that he
listen?
Let him get the sloppy toppy off his rap song? Wipe me down.
Boosie, I mean, I've seen joints. I've seen actually clips like when he be in the video. I mean, in the van or with transport, whatever, with his kids in the vehicle, and he's smoking. Like,
oh, hell to the no.
His kids, his relationship with his kids, like,
it's open, bro.
The funny thing, but the funny thing is,
all that in front of them.
But the funny thing is, people always smoke in front of their kids. So I never really see.
But listen, I'm talking about if you riding in a van or
you gotta think about the
you hotboxing
your kids.
Come on, bro.
I get you. I'm just saying. I've seen people do it where it's like, damn, they don't give a fuck. I've seen. I mean,
not only this, like
shit.
In my household, right?
Right.
My old household. Let me not throw myself under the bus. We would designate a smoke section for the adults to smoke, and the adults would smoke like a motherfucker, get their groove on, and then less than 5 minutes later, kids running around, be like, so the kid running in, catching all the little contact.
Right.
It might not be the immediate contact,
but the best way
the
best way to possibly do that shit is not do it at all around kids. I'm just saying, but I'm just saying. But I'm saying everybody. But that's why I say everybody. That's why I say everybody.
Everybody got my kids too. Like, when are they gonna smoke? Like,
but that's why I say everybody got their own way and what they think is right or wrong. Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's your day.
Like, I don't smoke at all.
So my kid is Christian way. I mean, listen. To be honest, and Boosie, like, I mean, Don's made a point. As long as, I mean, listen, and there's different levels of what people consider child abuse. Because I know some will say, well, he's a grown man.
Can't even whoop ass now,
he's an adult, getting another adult.
I'm saying you can't even really whoop ass.
But listen, this is what I'm saying. Listen, people gonna look at it as Boosie's an adult, having another adult perform sexual acts with a minor. You see what I'm saying?
That's why he should have just.
And that should have been kept out of his own household.
Good ass fucking dad.
You know what I'm saying?
Good ass fucking dad.
I don't know. My question will be for the moms. Like, how did you feel about that? Because women.
Yeah, we need
women have to play a part of that.
Women. She definitely ain't gonna like that shit.
Right.
Now let me ask y'all this: do we invite her over for cookouts and shit?
Who?
The one that sloppy topped her children on.
No, not the toppy general.
No.
Hey, no, she don't know.
Nah. She had to keep her around.
No, listen. The word was she checked us all out. That means
we have got
term.
to keep her around.
Listen, anybody says anybody who checks out and on anything means
definitely your strains for change.
It is a temporary thing.
So this not. We don't keep her around.
She stays in the pocket, not come around to the den.
In the pocket.
But she might come to the cookout.
If you on that level,
hey, my wife said if he good, then free R. Kelly. That's what she said.
Oh, come on, Farrah. Don't start that shit, Farrah.
That's a whole nother thing.
Hey, we're going to get on your son, Danny Hernandez, in a minute, Farrah.
But
that's not our son. Don't do that.
Hey, but like I said, I mean, that she makes a good point. Then, you know what I'm saying? Like, at what point are you willing to draw the line? Because you don't want your daughter being associated with no shit like that. And then, what if your daughter run into a kid like this, and then he try to fuck on your daughter, and she 13, 14 years old, because he like,
seasoned vet.
Right.
At 13 years old.
He's trying to fuck on your daughter. And you talking about, what? He was trying to do what? Then you have a meeting, a parents meeting, because they get caught in the coat closet or some stupid shit at school. Then he say, I always teach my sons how to do what they got to do. As long as he had a condom on, you might be sitting as the other parent like, what the fuck?
So real quick, if anybody out there can hear us, you hear what we're talking about, Boosie and his kids, give us a call, 240, oh no, we got a new number, right?
It's 202-553-9918.
9918. Nigga, it's two numbers on the board.
We know we don't go by the
Get your number.
It's two numbers.
I'm glad y'all told me that, dog. I didn't know.
202-553-9918. Call us and tell us if you think Boosie's out of his damn mind or Boosie's the greatest father in the world.
Is he out of control?
Great fucking dad. Boosie's a
to
great
me, growing up, that would have been a great father.
Right.
Me now, I'm not gonna hit my son on the head at no 13, 14.
I mean, this shit.
Not by no grown adult. Like,
no, you can't get about no.
I mean, you gotta think about it. It's shit that
13, 14, you fuck. I'm sorry. Them females.
But you said I wouldn't get my son hit by a grown adult.
Hello?
We know that.
Yeah.
What's up?
I'm calling about Boosie.
What you got? What you got?
Who is this? Who's calling?
So y'all question was, is Boosie a good dad, right?
No, we know he's a good dad.
He's a great dad.
No, I'm just saying
So,
from a woman's
hold
point
on.
of view.
So y'all just said Boosie is a great dad,
He's a
right?
great
Listen,
dad. I said it. His dad didn't say it.
Boosie is a great dad. Wait, pause. Boosie is a great dad, right?
Is this
How many of
addressing
y'all
the
got
woman?
daughters? How many of y'all got
Hey, this
daughters?
ain't about the daughters.
So if
We all
Boosie
got
is a
about the
great
daughters.
dad, y'all daughters can get his too, right?
It's not
It's
about the
Y'all
daughters.
daughters get his
Hey,
too.
you're
I
changing.
don't agree.
Hey, you're changing the narrative.
Y'all said Boosie is a great dad, so all y'all daughters can get.
You're changing the narrative of the conversation.
Wait a
You're
minute,
changing the
listen.
narrative of the whole
First of all,
conversation.
Toucan Dan didn't agree with any of this. Okay, so don't say all y'all.
I think-
I didn't say it.
I think Dan did
I
agree
didn't
at
say
some
that.
point.
No. Chris, Step, Don, except for Toucan Dan, y'all said Boosie is a great dad and
Great
invite her to
fucking
the
dad.
cookout, right?
Great fucking
So all
dad.
y'all
I
daughters
just want to know, can we
get it.
invite her to the
Wait,
cookout? That's all.
Time out. All y'all daughters can get it from Boosie Jr.'s father or from Boosie himself. And invite Boosie to the
We
cookout
talking
too,
about
and
the
all the
sons.
girls.
We're talking about sons.
Right?
It's two separate sexes. We're talking about the sons. We're not
No.
talking about.
Y'all just said Boosie was a great dad.
Sons are different. Sons and daughters are
We don't raise
different.
them the same way.
Yeah, it's definitely
Cannot
different.
be a hypocrite. Either he a great dad or he a bad dad.
He's not a bad dad. He's a great. I think he's a great dad.
Regardless of their sexual orientation and
talking
what they
about the
are.
sons
If they
here?
a male or female, will go for one, goes for the next. If my sons can get it, my daughters can get it.
No,
No.
hell no,
Hell
hell no, hell
So
no.
Boosie not a good dad.
Hey, dudes can. I mean, the dude can stay out later than the girl. You don't
You
trust
let
the.
your sons have company. You don't
Yeah.
let your daughters have company.
Yeah.
No.
Your
So
son can have a
dudes
girl
now,
spend the
ladies
night.
and
I know
girls,
my
why
house.
is
I would
that?
have a girl spend the night.
Why is that?
My
Because
sisters
dudes
can
can't
have
Yeah, it
it.
wasn't no. Yeah, ain't no.
and
Yeah.
bring home a baby.
Yeah.
So-
it ain't. It, honestly, even you
Y'all
gotta.
not
Your daughter, if your daughter 21. Shit, ain't no
Ain't no
dude.
nigga spending that.
Yeah.
Ain't no nigga spending that.
But a little-
Raise
but-
your sons and daughters as
I can't hear all y'all at the same time.
Oh, excuse-
Y'all
right.
speak at once.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We free now.
What I was
Everybody speak
saying,
at once.
is my 21-year-old, because I have two 8-year-olds, right? One boy, one girl.
Hold up. Who said they got a 20-year-old?
Step.
I got a 20-year-old.
Step talking.
You got a 20-year-old daughter?
No, I have a 21-year-old son.
Oh, okay, yeah. But we're not talking about 21-year-old son. We talking about minors. Because
No.
Boosie
Nope.
children are minors. They
No.
are 21.
We're
talking
If
on
you're
the
21,
I was-
America says you are grown. You can do whatever you want to do. So we're not talking about 21-year-old. Boosie's sons are under 21.
Hey,
So
hey,
your
but-
son
hey,
can
but-
get his, your daughter can get two.
No,
No.
it's not true.
Boosie said he got
Not in my
his son
house.
kids
Not
at
in
a
my
minor,
house.
and they
Not
agree
in
with
my
it.
house.
So I called in
You
and
get
say,
shot.
thank you, and I'm telling them if it's good for your sons, it's good for your daughters. He's saying
Was
no.
that a voice in the
Hey,
background? Who's that voice in the background?
who's that in the background? Who's that in the
Equal
background?
opportunity.
Who's that voice in the
Equal
background?
opportunity.
Listen, let me
You
ask.
think your daughter's not horny?
No, listen.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about sons.
You're none.
Like,
Hey,
don't be
Look,
sissy
listen,
now.
let me ask you a question.
Here.
As a mom, if you are,
You
if
think
you
your daughter don't want to get something
listen,
like
hey, Ferris,
can I ask you a question? Please, can I ask you a question? My question
Yeah,
is.
go ahead.
My question is, as a mother, if you found that out about something that your son, child's father allowed that to happen, as a woman or and a mother, how would you feel about that?
You can tell how she feels.
I mean,
So
not
he
that,
allowed it to happen to my son or my daughter?
no,
Or both?
your son. Like if you're like
Hold on. Time out.
I put it
Hey, hold on. Listen.
I'm gonna tell you how I feel
found out
about that.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Put it out.
Listen.
Let me answer
If
the
you
question.
found out Don let your son
Let me
get
answer.
head,
Wait.
Right.
I ain't gonna like that shit because for one, STD is high as shit. HIV,
That's what I was saying. That's what I was
chlamydia,
saying.
all that shit. So I'm gonna be mad as shit. I'm gonna have my son at the doctor's office, not the next day, because STDs do not show up the next day. And one of y'all said as long as she got tested. STDs take 3 weeks to show up. So no, I'm gonna be mad as shit because I'm gonna be
What if you
caring
wear
for
a
my
condom?
son's
What if you wear a
sexual
condom?
health at that point.
What if
And
you
I
wear a
don't want my
condom?
son to live with an STD for the rest of his life because his dumb ass dad got him some kids. Which is stupid.
What if
That's
he wears a
You
condom?
can get an
Hey, Greg, we
STD
talk-
from oral sex. You can get it. And how old was this girl? Well, and I'm calling her a girl, and it's statutory rape. And she a girl because a real woman not sucking off no little boy. I'm not putting my lips on no little boy. What fucking is that? She a
Man,
fucking pedophile. And if y'all agree with that shit, we all tell you right now.
So we
We all
can't-
tell you.
This ain't about R. Kelly. This is not about it. It's not. This.
So we can't invite her to.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
We can't invite her to the cookout.
And I will not agree with my dude getting my son off fellatio because
Hey, you talking about me? You talking about me?
Herpes, chlamydia,
Hey, what about if he wear a condom? What about if he wear a condom though?
Let me tell y'all something. Tupac and Easy was dead.
All right.
Come on now. So why would I be happy with my son getting hit from a random? Come on now. No.
I guess we're not inviting her to the cookout then.
All right, babe. We about to let
Hey,
you go.
thanks for calling in.
I'm gonna call back in when y'all have another question.
No,
like
we love you.
Thank you.
All right,
Hey,
babe.
yeah, but I mean that basically sums it up.
Our caller said, "Hell the fuck no."
No, but I'm just like I said.
And that was a
And that's my wife.
And the biggest part of
And
that,
I'm on the opposite end.
And you gonna go to the council?
I'm on the opposite end.
Hey,
I don't sleep on no motherfucking couch.
but like I said,
I'm in the bed.
The point being is that it is an adult with another adult giving a consent for an adult to have a sexual act with a minor. Boosie, it's your children, your life, live it the way you want to live. But like I'm agreeing with Don on this one. If you do whatever you do, that's how you raise your children. But certain shit, you need to keep your fucking mouth
Let's
closed.
keep that shit to yourself. Only problem I had with the boozy shit is he just should have kept his mouth closed about that shit.
And
He was being too real.
I mean, honestly, I don't think you should do that. I mean, I feel it's a time and a place and ages where you do talk about things with your children, but to take it to that level,
yeah.
Hey, at least nobody gonna tell his kids that shit. He told them.
Listen,
And that's what I say.
My only problem is the age.
yeah,
That's my only problem.
12 and 13.
At 12 and 13, man, you know, we need to let them learn and find out shit on their own. That'll be teenagers. Children, teenagers.
Shit, they're 12 and 13.
Hey, 12 is.
But I don't
12 is
think.
teenager. 12
I don't
is
think
the new
he's a bad
teenager.
father, though.
Yeah, I don't. But you know, it is what it is. Hey,
So I guess she basically said we can't invite her to the cookout.
No, definitely not the head clinic.
The,
All right,
the headmaster.
so moving on. In our next story, if anyone doesn't know, we're gonna let you know. Rock and roll legend, Hall of Famer. What's going on? Steph? You all right, man? Are you over here changing do rags? This nigga missed one haircut, and he can't even get his do rag game.
I missed my barber.
He switching his do rags
Out of game, dog.
But you know what?
What's up, Miss Erica?
Little Richard. This I don't know if his real name was Richard Penniman. That was his real name.
Richard Penniman?
Yeah, Richard Penniman.
I know that.
Never know that.
Known as Little Richard, he was the grandfather, the grand orchestrator of rock and roll. If you don't know, before Elvis
stole all his shit.
hey yo, before the Beatles,
hold up, man.
no bro, for real,
In real life.
no, and before Elvis, before the Beatles,
Elvis stole from the Beatles.
Before what's the other group? The Rolling Stones. A lot of these people, they really came under Little Richard's umbrella. He was the actual person to really start doing up-tempo, high-paced music, man. And he changed the world as we know it, but nobody really wanted to give him credit.
So me and Don got a burning question. We were talking about this shit before the show.
the elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room wants to know, was Little Richard gay?
Yes, he was.
I believe so.
He was fruity as a Christmas fruit.
Yeah, he was gay as a motherfucker.
That's like saying.
I never heard in the public eye, or seen him in no gay parades, or endorsing.
You gotta think what time he came up though. That's when people really want to talk
But the
about
nigga
it.
just died.
So he probably just kept it under the wraps.
But yeah, he was
didn't want to come out the closet.
Could he hang with you? Could he be in the clique? Could Little Richard be in your
With all
clique?
the money he got there, right?
Little Richard was but first of all,
With all the money that man, he can sleep with my little cousin.
This nigga, y'all going too far.
You may sleep with your
Ever
cousin.
since we start talking about Boosie, man, Steph over here selling all family
You may sleep with my youngest cousin.
Both motherfuckers.
What it do, Pun? What it do, Kojo?
But he was.
Hey, Little Richard just slipped your ass that Mickey, man.
That Mickey had your ass.
You wake up with your ass hurting.
Ass
Yo, for real? Hey, Little Richard, yo. Hey, This is hey, you know what? This sounds like some homophobia. They said just because Little Richard gay, he gonna try to sleep with you, dog. Just because Little Richard gay, he gonna find you sex. I'm just saying. Listen,
he said that.
He was on the show with y'all. He was very flamboyant, as people say.
No, I didn't really know.
That was like asking was Prince, because then nobody really.
No, Prince wasn't gay.
Whoa.
See, that
what is your definition of gay?
A man who has sex with other men.
Okay, so you don't think?
Hold on. There was a difference.
What's the difference?
It was a difference between Little Richard and Little Richard. I can see a difference, but Prince was. I mean, he had some feminine.
Gay is gay.
Right.
Gay
I got you.
You sleep with the same sex.
No, it's a homosexual.
What?
Homosexual. That's what you mean?
It's the same shit, dude.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me finish my shit. Bisexual means you sleep with men and women, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Being a little flamboyant, a little fruity, a little bit questionable, but we really don't know. We're gonna sit up here on this podcast and say Prince didn't sleep with a man.
Did you know about anybody coming?
Y'all never heard that?
No, never. You never heard any scandal of Prince having sex with a female?
I'm asking a question. That's
no.
all.
I just think it's a big difference.
Because I remember Jamie Foxx talking about.
He said
if you stare in jail, if you stare in Prince's eyes,
and would he ask the security guard though? He said, "So what you do when he look through your eye?"
You know, I'm gonna fuck him myself.
Hey, so listen,
So I've been fucking.
I've been fucking him every day.
Jamie Foxx said that shit.
Jamie Foxx said, "Listen,
hey yo, that shit
so funny.
That shit was fun. I think it's I might need security. I think I might need security.
The Foxhole. It's one of the two.
I think it's I might.
If you have never seen Jamie Foxx,
and then he talk about Prince.
Jamie Foxx is straight wrong.
But that nigga said, looking at Prince is like staring at a baby deer.
Yeah,
hey, yo, that shit funny as a motherfucker.
But I mean, like I said, Little Richard, he started that shit, the androgyny, the wearing women's makeup to give that flawless appearance, and that was more. If I don't know, he had a story.
Somebody Google Little Rich gay, right? Little Richard being gay, right?
Yo, can we get to the actual story? The man, that we focused.
I'm just curious. I was curious.
I mean. Is that's part of the story? Or is
I mean,
that is a question that is on the table.
I told you that shit. I already told you that shit was going left in the text. I already knew when you
talk about Little Richard, bro.
Yeah, straight.
There's some questions that we
I mean, hey, look it up. I'm just saying. I'm gonna keep to the story.
Peace to the phone.
I'm gonna keep to the story.
Rest in peace. Much respect. I'm not.
Hey, we don't have a free phone. No, we don't have a free phone.
What?
Well, I'm actually trying to stick to some of the story and stop just talking about how gay Little Richard was. We can get into that, but I mean, if we got a spare phone, let's get into that.
He always finishes the story. I'm gonna still ask my motherfucking questions.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying.
I got your back, bro.
Right, because I don't understand. Steph just having an issue with Little Richard being gay right now.
Nobody.
You've been saying you asked me gay.
Simple question.
And we try to answer it. And then you went back there.
Go ahead,
but yeah, anyway, listen, androgyny. Little Richard, the whole thing was the look of flawlessness. Now,
but I didn't agree with that though.
I mean, that was his thing. He wore makeup. The band. Listen, not only did Little Richard wear makeup, the band members wore makeup. Everybody wore makeup. Like it wasn't just him, but they didn't want to do it.
Again?
I mean, looking at the movie, some of them kind of
they
didn't like that shit. Yeah, they did the movie. It's my man JT from the Fire Heartbeats played Leon. Leon played Little Richard. He played some iconic characters, dude.
Leon played.
It was one of the BET Soul joints, but yeah,
Leon played Little Richard.
Richard.
It don't matter. Because Little Richard was actually darker than what you see.
Because
he actually, his last few years, he could actually, he stopped doing that shit. Yeah, he was darker. I was like, is this Little Richard? Yeah,
that was his part.
Yeah, that was the makeup. He was actually darker than what you thought he was.
What's going on, Margaret Nash? How you doing, Grandma?
Yeah, but Leon, he played him. It's a joint. You can look it up. It was pretty good.
So Leon was JT from the Fire Heartbeats. Little Richard.
Eddie Kane.
No, he wasn't Eddie Kane. He was JT from the Fire Heartbeats. There's another dude that played Eddie Kane.
Oh, on the Fire Heartbeats?
Michael. It's another dude. Yeah, he wasn't Eddie Kane.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He was JT.
That was my man. Yeah, you're right.
He was JT. And then he was David Ruffin.
Yeah, David Ruffin.
Yeah, then he was David Ruffin.
I forgot what it was, but you can look it up.
Right.
Leon, he played Little Richard. It was one of them BET joints.
Yeah.
But he just basically.
And the dudes in the band, they they was doing it, but they was like, you know.
And actually, Little Richard didn't really
That was like the 60s.
have a lot of sexual. Now, according to the movie, he didn't have a lot of sexual orientated people or partners in his life. And in a certain part of his life, he became a preacher.
But see, they probably cut some shit out too.
Yeah.
I want to see that
No,
real.
because at some point in his life, he became a preacher, like a full ordained Christian leader. You know what I'm saying? So his story is very complex. But I mean, like I said, the saddest thing about Little Richard is he never won a Grammy. But he's literally considered the
So he
Grammy.
never got his props. For all the
He
shit
never
did
got
for
his
rock and
props.
roll community.
And he started it, man. He said
him and, Chuck Berry.
James Brown.
Guided to the rock and roll.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the first ones. He's one of the first ones.
But he just
He was in
never
the first
got his
class.
full.
He never got his-
Right, he never. Everybody he took from his act and from his swag or whatever.
I mean, he's a
never
fucking
got his-
pioneer, man. Like he's definitely a.
Oh, without a doubt. Listen, you know,
Needs-
me asking if the brother was gay is just a question that I had. You know, my lack of knowledge of Little Richard. He was an unbelievable dude, unbelievable artist.
He's a personality. Like you can see that
Personality,
shit.
yeah.
Shut
So
up.
I'm young. So I think I asked it somebody else. I thought Lionel Richie and Little Richard
It was
was
the
the
same.
same.
Oh, my
See,
God,
it's all
man.
good. It's all
Hey,
good.
I'm 28.
Yeah,
I ain't know.
Lionel Richie's the Commodores.
Lionel
Okay.
Richie is the sparkler nigga. Always remember that.
Broke his nose, wife broke his nose.
Hello.
Yeah,
thought it was the same.
that album a problem.
That album is a
Yeah,
beast.
that solo.
He got one of the most
Dancing on the
stalkingest videos in history.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about that, but check out Lionel Richie too. Hey, if you don't know, check out Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie,
You know what I'm saying?
dude.
We some New York music connoisseurs. He has some big hits.
Love music.
Hey, and if you didn't know
What up,
about,
Chuck?
if you didn't know about Lionel Richie with the Commodores, you don't know nothing about Lionel Richie because he
Nothing.
But anyway,
Motherfucker.
So what's the
Easy
song
like
Little
Sunday
Richard
morning.
did?
Tutti Frutti on Rudy.
Tutti Frutti. I can't.
See, I thought he was that right there.
But that's back in the
No,
day.
but you know what? The funniest thing about Little Richard's songs, if you listen to them back in those days, they were actually sexually persuasive.
That was nasty.
Yeah, but it was about having sex.
It was actually a nasty ass song.
Yeah,
You know how many
Like this-
motherfuckers was talking about having sex with women that was gay back in that
Tutti
era?
Frutti Booty,
No,
some
I
shit
know,
like that. Shit was
no.
actually they actually cut
Right,
some of the
what I'm
nasty
saying
part
is
off.
like the songs that he used to sing were basically driven sexually.
He probably was. I mean, he's probably bisexual, man. Like
Yeah.
I think he dabbled both ways.
But
Yeah.
I mean, hey, the
Look at
man
that.
was an icon, and he had
Yeah, I
he
just
got great
I
music.
never really remember hearing anything about his personal life. You know what I mean?
Right.
So whatever he did, he kept it.
And like I said, then at the time,
He kept it, but we seen it.
I seen it, and then that's what I wish. I know. Listen, I know Margaret, Grandma Margaret's watching, but I'm wondering if she listened to Little Richard, and even back in them days, you know, the older generation, if they thought that he was, you know, gay at that time.
'Cause it's like-
but by the way that he performed.
But it's just like with Prince and them. You know. I mean,
I
a lot of that
Prince,
shit.
I thought he was gay.
See, the problem is a lot of that shit went over my head. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. To be honest with you, at my
But when you
age.
look back at it now,
But when you look back at it, you're like, whoa, what
Like,
the
hold
fuck?
up.
Like, yeah, a lot of that shit went.
Prince used to wear high heel. He was a bad motherfucker.
and that's what made him have his bad. He had fucked up hips from dancing and that shit. That's why he had hip surgeries.
Really?
And that's why he got hooked on painkillers. Because Prince fucked his hips up doing, for real, no bullshit. This ain't no made up story. He had 2 hip surgeries because dancing and jumping off speakers and doing splits with motherfuckers.
I can imagine. Bro.
Fucked him all up. But, you know, like I said, hey man, the great suffer sometimes so we can enjoy other things in life. That's how shit is. But like I said, shout out to Lil Richard.
What other song did he do besides?
That's the only song
Tutti
that
Frutti?
I
That's
ever
like
heard.
the only joint. I remember.
I would have to look.
Yeah,
it
you gotta
up
look it up because I actually that's like the only song I can think of at the moment.
I mean, I know that he was greatness, and you know, in all, just his whole embodiment of music and the shit that he did was amazing. He was a great performer, a great artist. I just don't remember another song besides Tutti Frutti.
Well, I mean, because it was.
And a lot of that shit was way before our time. I mean,
Oh, I'm
to be honest
here.
with you, we just happened to, you know, I seen
here.
him and he just always been
Oh,
like.
okay. Long tall Sally. Good golly, Miss Molly. Everybody know
Golly,
that.
Miss
There you go.
Molly.
Good,
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't think of the song.
you better stop, Lucille. Some of these we might not. Oh, keep knocking. You keep knocking, but you can't come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did somebody redo that?
Again.
Somebody sampled
Yeah.
that.
But see,
Somebody always said
but see, back in the day, the white people used to perform their song to get on the popular radio. Like I think at that time, that's when they used to. The white people would perform. They would do another version of the jump for it to get on the.
Ain't that stuff mystical jump?
Keep knocking what you can't.
Yeah. That's what did that.
Listen, you can hear it in Mystikal's music. Some of the James Brown.
James Brown is in a lot of shit.
These songs, Ready Teddy, Whole Lot of Shaking going on, 1959, 1973, 1958.
Now, hold on real quick. Grandma Margaret Nash said, yes, I love Little Richard, loved his music. Good golly, Miss Molly. No, I know you loved him, but what I was asking Miss Margaret Nash is, you know, when you were listening to him back then, as a young adult, did you automatically assume that he was gay? You know, I mean, of course, there's nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. But I would look at him, you know, how he dressed and how he performed, and I would just wonder, especially back then, you know, people the way they looked, you know, back then it was frowned upon. Was it something that people, you know, said about Little Richard that, oh, you know, he was gay, or you know what I mean, or you know, something's wrong with him? Because his music spoke for itself. That's, you know, not even a question. I just wondered, did he take a lot of heat for the way he dressed, this flamboyant look?
And I mean, during those times, he was considered almost like a sex symbol because he was so far stretched out of the norm. Because you got to think, this is back when everything. I wasn't living then, but from my understanding and looking at that part of history he was in, everything was much more conservative. You know, more secular music, church music. It was about being more conservative. And you know, kind of a line of with the American.
And Grandma Margaret Nash said yes, he was gay. So even back then, they knew. You know,
right?
I just, you know, like I said, growing up as a young kid, I love music. A teenager, I just never knew if he was gay or not. You know, when I got older, I never heard these things.
But you stopped. But yeah,
I also was like, hold on, this guy's not like this.
Yeah, because at some point you just like you woke up one day and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
but I mean, like you said, and that goes back to what I was saying. As children, when you see things, you might see them, but you don't truly understand them. You know what I'm saying?
And that's back in the day. Now these little kids see and understand.
Now they see things.
That shit just right in front
it's all over the place. And it is what it. What's going on, Miss Crystal Sims? How you doing, sweetheart? Thanks everybody for joining us, man. Tuning in,
we got
supporting the cause.
Yeah, always.
Get ready to call in. We got a juicy topic.
We got a topic coming up.
Juicy topic.
That is going to be a head buster.
But yeah, like I said, anyway, rest in peace, man. Flowers on the grave, roses in the sky to Little Richard, aka Richard Penniman. He was died at 87. No, it wasn't COVID. It was just of old age. Because you know, I just wanted.
As a matter of fact, yo, hit the forge on that, yo. Because we gonna finish with your boy.
Yeah. So, but like I said, man, respects. And if Little Richard doesn't get a Grammy, they need to give him an award or something after him, man. You know, give the man his proper respect. You know, we're not gonna get too far into it about, you know, race and all that. But
What's up, Cole?
I know he was blackballed for a certain.
Go ahead.
He was blackballed for a certain amount of time. He was a black flamboyant man who had hella talent and was not afraid to tell people how it was or who he was. You know what I'm saying? And that's important also for people to understand. Like, black entertainers, we break those barriers. Things that people are afraid to say or afraid to do, we do.
Speak our mind.
You know what I'm saying? And speak through music. Now, it leads to other things as far as politics and everything else surrounding, you know, our day-to-day lives. But respect our musicians, man, and people that actually put their creative side on the line for people to be able to be heard, have a voice. You know what I'm saying?
And everything you said was 100% correct. I just wanted to touch on that because me and Don had talked about this before we came in the studio about how great his music was. The, you know, sadness of him passing, giving him homage. It was just a question that me and him had both looked at each other and asked. And I was like, Don, was Little Richard gay? And he was like, I don't know. I mean, I think so. We really didn't know. So please don't hear this shit and think, oh, only thing the big light skin guy and Don got in there was he gay? No.
Hey.
Paying homage, but that was a very big question that I didn't know.
If they do think that, fuck y'all opinion.
We don't give a damn.
We gonna say the shit. Hey, we gonna say the shit we think on this motherfucker. We ain't got nothing against gay people or whoever.
I love gay people.
If it's 4 people in a group and then one dude stands out from some way or another, he's doing flips and shit, we gonna say something about it.
I had a guy ask me one time, and a girl asked me the same thing. Why do you love gay guys so much?
Why do you love gay guys so much?
Gay people in general, but gay guys.
He said, Really?
You know why? More coochie for me.
I thought he was going to say that.
You thought I was about to go real sideways.
Nah. Yeah, I thought it was going. I thought it was going to go further.
Crazy.
Nah, I thought it was going to go further than that. That was just a little bland. That was moderate. That was moderate.
What's up, Mike Twin?
Hey, Mike said, huh?
Tell Mike better shut his ass up.
Hey,
before I expose his ass.
Hey, yo, can we can I get my segment for this last?
What's
segment?
up there, Miss 66969?
Can we get the music for this?
Oh, what you did?
6, what it do, 6?
Huh? We need the
for number 4.
We need
For
the
number 4?
No, we just do number 4. Yeah.
I thought we was going to.
No, we
Hey, listen.
I thought he said do the.
We
live, baby.
Real quick, y'all. This next question, I need everybody's to tune in. I need everybody's to
Zoom in.
I need everybody's answer. Focus on
Turn
this
the
next
TV
Go ahead,
down.
man.
Yeah.
Come on,
Tell the
man.
kids shut the fuck up.
Mike 6.
Good, bro.
Everybody.
All right, now this is the question.
Yeah, Instagram. What y'all think too? We got
next question.
We got a question for you.
Monumental question.
So check it out.
Should blood tests be a mandatory thing at birth?
Should be. What y'all think? One more time, man. One more time.
The question is, should blood tests be mandatory at birth?
Now, I want to ask this.
Well, let me say before we go too
Go
far.
ahead.
Now, I want people to be open-minded about this conversation because it's not just a pseudo-paternity and everybody like, oh, what you trying to duck child support? No, because a lot of things can be told about a child by testing their blood in the first 24 hours of their birth. And some of those things may save their lives, and it's not always about a check taken away.
All right. Fuck that.
We're going to go straight
It should be a blood test off the break. I got Michael Shiflett. I do your government out there, my dude. Twin.
Damn, don't do
What's up, Steve?
C said yes off the buck.
Off the
no
break.
question.
My grandma Margaret, we love her. She said yes. Listen, I completely agree that blood tests should be mandatory off the break. Not so a dude can duck paying child support.
Or get put on
child support. Steve, my man Steve Shiflett, the other twin said yes. I don't know why I said they won't let my homegirl comment. Call us up, 6. Call us up, 202-553-9918. 202-553-9918. You can call us.
Yeah, y'all call, get y'all opinions,
and
get
six
the reasons
said,
why.
Six said, hell yes, it should be mandatory. That's coming from a female perspective. And it's not just to duck child support, in my opinion. I
just think it cuts out a whole lot of bullshit if you just did it all. I just think at that point, I mean, honestly, ladies, some ladies might be offended, but I think if you do that shit off the break, your dude can't run away saying it ain't his. It cuts a lot of bullshit. Yeah, it do.
My homegirl 6 said it should be mandatory and people should know their blood type and for disease purposes. I completely agree.
Now we got Devin on there that says who pays for the test.
Hey, what's up, Cinematic Anarchy? What's good, man?
That's gonna be on the bill.
Hey, should blood test?
They even charge you to hold your kid.
Now let me say this. And the hit Kids Health magazine says blood tests is generally performed when a baby is 24 to 48 hours old. This timing is important because certain conditions may go undetected if blood sample is drawn 24 hours of age. Newborn screening does not confirm a baby has a condition. So by this is saying,
I'm saying it's good for that point, but the point
how happy is
DNA test.
To see who the papa is.
See, I was trying to go outside the box with this one. Okay, well, I mean, so you want to see if the baby yours? As soon as it pop out.
See, I was round the way earlier, and our thing was,
hey, Delvin said who pays for the test?
Yeah, that's.
The state.
The state because the state ain't gonna pay. They gonna put it on the bill. That's gonna be a part of the bill.
I think the parents pay for that shit. The parents pay for that shit. Yeah, they should put that shit. It should be
going to have on a baby. You can go have on a baby.
Yeah, and that shit cut. Hold on, we got a call.
We got a call.
Hello.
Yeah.
What's happening? Who this?
I'm sorry, say again.
Who's speaking?
State your name.
Mr. 6.
What's up, 6? How you doing, sweetheart?
I'm good.
I ain't heard from you in a while. You been alright?
I'm good. I'm alive.
Staying safe, sweetheart?
Say again.
You staying safe?
Am I what?
Staying safe, nigga. Staying safe.
Are you safe? Are you staying safe, healthy? You know, are
Oh,
you taking?
hell yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
Listen.
So let me.
Listen.
So you want to
Skinny
comment
jeans.
on the? Say again.
Yes, I do. I want to comment on that shit.
Go
I
ahead.
need to do a segment on skinny jeans and fucking beards.
Yes!
Okay?
Yes!
He
I
said
love her.
skinny jeans and beards.
Skinny jeans and beards, because all these dudes running around looking like Amish gypsy
Yes.
lizards.
Did you
We
say
don't know
Amish
what the fuck is
gypsies?
going on. We don't know who's gay. We don't know who's straight.
I love
We don't know
her.
who's got
You just flipped
kids.
the whole
Who's
question.
got
We
motherfuckers.
talking about DNA test.
I
Now
love
y'all
her.
worried about some damn infectious disease, but y'all ain't been trying to test motherfuckers' face.
I love her.
Oh, and listen.
That
Okay.
shit needs to
Fuck
be.
your
That shit needs to be
opinion.
on your driver's license, motherfucker. If you HIV, they put on your driver's license if you alcoholic, but they won't put on that motherfucker if you HIV.
Or
They'll put your
Nah,
blood
that
type-
should be
blood type on certain-
that should be a tattoo. It should be a tattoo in the
that should
same
be
area.
tattooed
It should be in the
on
Pacific
the
area.
But now listen, if you're a donor, if
Although
you're a donor,
motherfuckers cover that shit up.
listen,
There's
if-
always ways around shit.
if you're a donor,
Nigga have
they
more
do
makeup
put
on
your-
the stomach.
They put your blood type on your ID if you're a donor. They do that
Yeah.
if you elect to be a donor in case of emergency. But so, what do you feel about the DNA testing like at birth? Do you feel like that kind of to me that kind of takes away from the
What?
whole excitement, the situation? Like you got a newborn child and everybody's sitting around like we gotta wait till this DNA test come back before we can really go and celebrate.
Is it me?
It wouldn't
It's
be.
not. It's not you. Hey man, can you imagine it? But it's gonna be like Maury. It's gonna be like Mo.
That's why
It's
it's
gonna-
gonna stuff out because
it's gonna be
there
like
wouldn't
Mo-
be no sneaking around.
Hey, man, fuck
if you
that.
know you've been fucking this one dude.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be like Maury at the hospital.
So let's let the caller answer. Well, so how do you feel? Do you feel like that's something that should be mandatory blood testing as soon as the child is born to determine
Damn
DNA?
right.
Okay.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Rage.
Okay.
Listen. I'm a very violent person. Back in the day, I used to fight a lot and stab people.
No
Then
shit.
AIDS came around. So I was like, oh, you know what? I don't think I want to fight no motherfucker by them. I don't want that shit. Now you got some skills. You can't even stand 6 feet away from a motherfucker. Or if they sneeze, you can get sick. I ain't never had a flu shot. I ain't never had the flu. I ain't never had any type of disease or sickness in my life.
So you feel like that could
I'm
be?
about to let these motherfuckers, you think I'm about to let these motherfuckers inject some shit into me? No. I think personally, this is all a plan to brainwash us for the shit that's coming next. If this ain't it, this is the fucking beginning.
No, I'm just so you was.
control. They already monitoring us.
Let me
They
ask-
wanna
wait,
control
let's-
us completely.
Listen.
They
So
want to control us completely.
would that?
So
Would,
they want to fucking inject
Oh
like little
my
microchips
God.
inside of us. Nah, man, I'm not with none of that shit.
listen, but
I ain't had no dick. I ain't had no dick inside my pussy in 3 years, and I damn sure ain't about to let them give me no motherfucking shot for no COVID nothing.
We ain't
I got
talking about the
put out.
COVID.
so
I got put out from the CVS where I live for life because
So-
the
Damn, for
motherfucker
life,
he
girl?
coughed.
is that?
He coughed while he was walking by me.
You was
And
about to whoop
freaked
that
the
nigga
fuck
too,
out.
wasn't you?
Damn, they banned you for life though.
Police.
Hey, 6 about to whoop.
Is
Six
this-
don't play.
Sick.
Was this?
Six don't play.
Goddamn.
I don't know what happened.
They were making people wear masks. And this nigga was sick at work talking.
Did-
Fuck no,
She just had to
man.
get some
Hey,
shit.
listen, hey, look here, hey, 6.
Did-
We gonna get on them CVS niggas. We gonna go write a letter and boycott them. But listen, I knew the question real quick. Follow up with the question, baby. So you say yes to the DNA test, right?
Hold on, throw that question out there again, man. Because some people
The
just jump,
question
some
is,
people just jumping in.
Should DNA testing be mandatory
At birth.
at birth?
to determine
Who's the baby father
right.
of your child?
Yes.
That was our question.
That's the question.
That's the question. of the
And
night.
listen, 6, our caller called in and said yes.
Hold on.
For us? Or
Wait
someone
a minute,
else?
Hold on.
hold on.
Huh?
You put us on
You can't put us on hold, yo.
I'm listening to you on the Facebook. I can hear you better than on the phone.
Oh, that's damn, really?
Okay, yeah, so what we're saying, can you hear me now? I mean,
You hear me say it again?
okay, so the question was, do you feel is DNA testing at birth, is it necessary? Only determine whose baby it is.
Who that baby daddy?
Inside the lines of those, that right there, inside of those lines, do you feel like that's necessary to determine whether a child is the baby's father as soon as the child is born?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no.
Okay, thank you.
It depends.
So what does it depend
It
on?
depends because there's some people that know that their baby ain't dead, and they still want to find
that is why we think it should be mandatory.
Yeah, that cuts out a lot of the
You
bullshit.
can't put a baby on somebody that you
There's
already
not doing
people
good.
And then it also
that know
and it also
that the
established.
baby is not theirs, and
Right.
they still want to be a father to the baby.
But that's
I know
because
people who
that
have
was because they already had a connection.
3 kids with a woman, and 2 other kids is not theirs, but they've been taking care of them since they were little, and they don't know no different.
Okay,
Yeah,
So that depends on the family. It should be a
yes.
Yeah, but at the
be an option.
but if you knew that at the beginning, you probably
I don't know
not.
about mandatory, but
Right.
I do
Probably
definitely
you-
believe that the
it's a
DNA
disconnection.
testing and the blood testing should be more relevant,
Right.
and I be given some sort of options because it's just like not even there. Like,
Gotcha.
Hey, listen.
Thanks,
Thanks,
to me, like,
I wholeheartedly agree with you, Six, and I want to thank
what
you.
about your DNA testing as far as what nationality you are?
Oh,
and
no,
to know what type of diseases.
Listen, we're gonna have another show for that, baby.
This all about this all about if you the father. We want to know if you the father.
That baby daddy.
Yeah, we want to know if you the father. That's all. That's all.
But Six, thanks for calling in, baby. We love you. We
Yeah,
gonna
appreciate
keep-
you for calling.
Thanks for calling in and dropping them passionate bombs. Because we wanted to get you on here to give you at least a 15-minute segment just to let you go off. Just
That's
let
my
you
girl
detonate.
right there. We love you, girl. All right, baby.
I appreciate you.
We got a couple people on here.
And Steve.
Hey, hold on. My man Greg said women would try to hold on to a nigga by telling him it's his, and then he attached to a kid that's not his or not knowing. Some get mad and will ask for a test.
Like
I
I
mean,
said, I actually got a story. My man, he had a daughter, 6 years old. Thought it was his baby. Finally got tested at 6 years old. And the baby turned out not to be his child. So if he would have got that DNA test at the beginning, he wouldn't.
it's a certain disconnection.
Yeah.
Because at that point you beefing with her,
You beefing with her, and then
and you're not. But
even if you was
but
there
she's
for her
but if
for
she's
9 months of
6,
carrying the baby, you're not really connected to the baby for real yet.
but at 6 you attach.
Huh?
Yeah, 6
At
is
6
too late.
at 6 you attach,
Listen,
and if you
yeah.
leave you ain't shit.
Listen here,
I tested
man.
her, what, 6 months?
Hey, I'm sorry, at 6. If a child's 6,
What happened was,
but if you leave you
y'all
ain't
was
shit.
with the baby, and then the mother was like, "Oh, it's not your child. You can't do nothing for
That's
it."
how they do. Listen, and
So
I'm
that's
not
why I
saying
said at
all
the
of them
beginning, if
do
you
that.
get tested, you ain't gonna get to that 6-year-old.
And on top of getting tested, it should be 50-50 split. It should be a 50-50
Yeah, it should be-
split. I mean, at least starting off like that, unless
Hey, man,
somebody's showing they can't do
check
it.
this out, man. I'm not gonna get into no big personal fucking
But you know what?
story.
No, go ahead, Stick.
But just real quick, it should be mandatory, all right? Because within a year of time, okay, you develop so much feelings for a baby. I mean, emotionally, physically, the love of being a father, especially if you're a good father. If you learn, even if you're learning how to be a father, it's something that we go through, especially growing up without a father, and you're taking on the responsibility of being a parent.
Question. Let me ask
But no, because I have people who call me and say, "Nigga, your kid, I raised the baby for a whole year that was not my baby." Okay, that shit crushed me. I'm not gonna get all personal and yada yada yada. A whole year.
Right. I mean,
Named the baby, took the baby to every fucking doctor's appointment. It's not my baby.
Hey.
So it should be mandatory. I still love that baby, even though I'm not in that baby's life. The connection that I have with that baby, you can't break that from a good father.
Hey, one of our people, he said, Thomas Simmons said, I've only had a girl lie and say she was pregnant, but not someone lying about an actual child being mine.
That shit is
Damn,
devastating.
that's messed up.
That's devastating, young.
Oh, yeah, and like I said, now on that side of the coin, yes, I mean it should be mandatory because it would definitely cut out a lot of
What's
the
up, Tiger
bureaucracy and red tape that a lot of court systems, a lot of legal things that people go through that men and certain people won't have to go through. Now, this is me thinking outside the box because if you don't know, we like to do outside the box. This is one of our outside the box episodes. What if not just the hospital? I mean, not just the parent, but since it's used more in the legal situation, does the court get involved where they have your DNA? Like,
I mean, put it like
because like I said, they have your DNA from that child, so they can say, okay, like now this is an example. Let me finish. Woman goes to a hospital. The child's father is not present, right? She has the baby. Mandatory DNA test. Okay, we find out that I don't know, Bruce Wayne is the baby's father. Bruce Wayne is wanted for a couple of issues that we want to clear up. Let's find out when she came in contact with Bruce Wayne.
Fucking that nigga, and that's what somebody. I'm just saying, it's
legally. Now we have a way we can currently trace Bruce Wayne within the 9 months, last 9 months, because your blood becomes down. Your blood becomes a legal precedent. It's not now. It's more.
You gotta ask yourself the question for real, like. When you born, anyway, the doctor's already poking the kids and all. They already got your blood on file.
But no, they don't take DNA tests. What y'all saying is,
I mean, they don't match a lot of shit up. They
don't match it up, but they choosing not to run it, so they telling us.
But see, with the kids, it seems like it's only matched up with one motherfucker at a time, and they not worried about. It's not taking that same sample and running that shit across the board and being like, hey, this is. Hold on, you pregnant by motherfucking John? You pregnant by motherfucking John?
Right. What I'm saying is that once you put your blood legally into a certain system, that means it can be your DNA sample.
And then you can get and then motherfuckers will get matched up with their father quicker too. Because honestly, if their DNA is in the system, I mean, you get matched up with your actual father. So
you get matched up with your motherfucking thing.
It's actually fucked up. I mean, it'll be fucked up for people trying to run.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You went to jail for a DUI and you come out with a child. You know what I'm saying?
Like that's what I'm saying.
I can see what I'm saying. The DNA mandatory would be like, all right, you talking to a girl and she get pregnant, you going all the doctor appointments with her. You want to be at the birth. So at birth, when they give birth, they already ask you anyway. They ask you, do you want to, like how they ask you, do you want to sign the paper?
It should be mandatory.
It should be mandatory that you sign the paper.
But listen,
it should be mandatory that you got to. Now at this point, if you came to the hospital with her, the doctor's already thinking, oh, that's the baby father.
Paternity should be mandatory.
But what
paternity being established should be mandatory.
Right. A week after leaving that hospital, you should get a paper saying if you that baby child.
Damn right. No, but I mean, we're not saying that. I'm saying once you do that, you're basically entering into a legal contract. Now, anything that goes under, it's almost like the 23andMe.
So you think they keep that DNA sample? So
yeah, hell
damn right.
Hell yeah.
They've been doing that for 23andMe.
I mean, for the motherfuckers that did get tested, what you think they doing? They not running it like that now. I doubt they
because it's not mandatory. It's something that a woman can have a child and leave the hospital without the father being declared legally. But I'm saying once you say, look, I want mandated. That's state, but that's federal government, state, local government handing down a mandatory document saying that yes, once you have this child, you must have DNA testing to determine who the father of that child is. Legally, you're going into the system right then and there.
Hey, my man Thomas Simmons said once you put your name on a birth certificate and later the man finds out that the baby isn't his, won't they still hold you financially responsible?
Yeah.
They definitely do.
Yeah. So like I said, because the birth certificate is like a binding contract. It's a legal document.
Yeah, so once you on that joint, it's hard to get out of that shit.
So you sign your name and they take a blood sample and find out that some shit that went down.
The funny thing is,
you can't take it to court.
But the funny thing is, if you do the blood test, the chick looking at you sideways now.
Right.
But she couldn't look. That's why I say, what am I not?
I'm saying she looking at you sideways.
It's like this.
So really, nigga?
That's married. So you married, and a lot of it done been done before. A lot of women have a fucking baby by a person they've had an affair with.
Yeah.
So when they go to the hospital, they're not gonna tell their husband this is not your baby until you start back. Oh, this baby don't look like me.
But if they cross run the DNA
right there,
if a motherfucker got kids, he in the system, it'll pop up. Hold up, nigga.
It's almost like a social security number.
What's the name? And then, but you know the funny thing about that shit though. Nigga get killed off.
You know that. It's a legality.
Hey, what the name on it? Brother Daddy. Okay.
And it was the crayons. It was a meme with crayons on it. Y'all seen that? It was the yellow was the lady. Then they had the red and the green was the fathers. So I think the red was at the hospital with the lady, and he sent the text like, "Hey, what color is your kids?" And the kids was blue because you know the
right.
Hey yo, as I'm sitting,
had that test.
I'm sitting here thinking about it, yo. That shit ain't a good idea, yo. Some nigga.
It's gonna stop the fans off the break.
Some nigga gonna kill everybody. Some nigga gonna kill everybody in that motherfucker.
People get killed now.
Nah, yo, that shit. And you think about it,
everything you do, you gotta understand. You might go in with one purpose. I just want to know who the baby daddy is. But it's a lot of things outside of that box that are going to connect to that. So you got to realize
it's going to be a lot.
Let me close it on this. Let me close it on this and tell y'all this. You're right, though. Y'all are right about what y'all said. But knowing from the beginning and taking away that personal attachment at 1 year old or a couple weeks old, rather than finding out 3, 4, 5 years, that type of shit right there. Or make a nigga kill everybody in the motherfucking house.
That's what I'm saying.
Then they can save marriage.
But it'll save a lot of money.
I mean, it'll
save money, but it's some people not good at it.
Would you rather find out after she's pregnant or find out later down the road?
Listen, if she's pregnant, you basically gonna find out after the baby. You ain't gonna find out while she's
pregnant. But if it's mandatory already, and the woman go out there and cheat, and she know it's a possibility of that baby being somebody else's baby, she gonna be honest off the gate. Because you know when the baby's born,
I get that.
The husband is there. He might take a DNA test.
We didn't agree.
I get that.
We said what about everything else that comes?
But that's part of life. That's part of life.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
I mean, like I said, that's just a part.
I'm doing DNA test.
You know, I'm always playing devil's advocate.
Hey, but as I start thinking about it, it might be. It might not be.
You might put yourself in a whole different ship. That's all I'm saying.
I think it opens a whole can of worms.
It's going to open a whole lot of worms.
Because it's some people that can't handle that shit, man.
It's definitely going to.
And in some people, like I said, it's a lot of things that can be attached.
Mike Shifter said absolutely. Steve Shifter, both the twins commented. Steve said this would only protect men. Women ain't for this shit. I disagree.
But there's a lot of women
I think there's a lot of women that would agree.
Those are the ones that's faithful.
And I think that it would
like I said,
negate a lot of bullshit.
It's a lot. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it cut the red tape, but it cut the red tape on a lot.
Let me tell you, we're going to close it on this one. Right now, if the government was to send some DNA tests home to every family in America, it's going to be a lot of niggas at home right now.
Oh, man.
Mad as some motherfuckers.
And by niggas, listen.
We're not talking about just black folks.
Right. We
talking about Spanish, black, white.
We mean men in general.
It's going to be a lot of motherfuckers who going to have to ask themselves, do I still want to be a part of this kid's life?
Yeah, I mean,
that's part of loving somebody.
I mean, like I said, my point. I agree.
I mean, it's going to be a lot of people happy. But
I agree with you 100% about determining the. I'm just saying, my point is just devil advocate. Everything that comes along that's going to be linked to the DNA, not just the paternity. That's all I'm saying. We can close it out there.
I need the phone so I can play. Are we going to end?
Well, like I said, that's just something you got to look at.
Well, we about to talk about it, and then
we end it. Thanks to everybody for the question and calling in, and thanks Six for that long ass comment, and hey Six, don't get kicked out of no more CBS. But those who don't know my homegirl Six, don't call for her. Don't fuck with her. Yeah, Six don't play no games.
So moving on. You know what I'm saying?
Latino eat.
If you don't know, we like I always say, if you don't know, because some people like I never knew.
And if you don't know, you know.
But I got that from Tony Baker. I never knew, so I don't want to hear that copyright stealing shit. But anyway, if you don't know, Tekashi 6ix9ine is a free man.
What is that? Who
Tekashi 6ix9ine?
I don't know what that is.
The purple, the rainbow color hair. Yes,
Daniel Hernandez.
Tekashi 6ix9ine, aka Tekashi Shock, aka Daniel Hernandez, aka the Rainbow Rat, aka somebody hide me because they keep giving up my fucking address. Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's been big in the news lately. He's been big. I mean, he had the thing on the internet where in 24 hours he had the most views on Instagram.
24 hours, he had like
2 million views.
He had like 1.6 million.
Live.
No, at this point it's like 2-3 minutes in. He was already
of his
hitting
live. Yeah.
on live.
So he
So do you think he's gonna be able to sell records?
Me personally,
He already is.
Yep.
He gonna kill the rap game.
I said that before he got out.
When I say kill the rap game, I'm saying as far as numbers.
Oh yeah, of course.
His numbers gonna do
Because what you gotta understand
He's already a big topic.
we don't buy all the music. It's the white people that's rich folks.
It's the community that doesn't really live.
Yeah, they don't live it, so they don't have the same code as what you might have in the streets.
And this is what I've said on
and not everybody has street codes.
Listen, I've said this on previous episodes of Fuck Your Opinion. Not everybody. Listen, ghettos, urban communities, the streets. They're not bigger than the suburbs and what's outside of them.
Right.
So the code that most people that are in the streets follow, the rest of the world
does not follow.
And then let me say, and I don't mean the rest of the world like in Russia or they don't know, because it's streets everywhere. It's streets codes and
there's a hood in every fucking spot.
But the people who live above that means they don't really understand what's considered street code. But let me tell you something.
And honestly, if you're not in the streets, you shouldn't be. That ain't your shit either.
Don't worry about it.
I mean, everybody want to kill. Yeah, everybody don't follow because everybody not from the street, so everybody can't follow the street code. It's not.
Going with that though, if anybody knows who Chet Hanks is, that's Tom Hanks' son.
Nobody knew that.
I knew
Chet
it.
Hanks.
I knew it because he rap or something.
Yeah, Chet Hanks.
He's a rapper.
Raps. He was
good.
He was doing some Jamaican
right.
patois joint.
He's
Like
right.
he basically wants to get a plate to the cookout. Tom Hanks' son, Chet Hanks. If you don't know, check him out.
Tom Hanks dope. So I guess
No, Tom Hanks is under a lot of scrutiny right now. We might add too. He's going to be on one of our next podcasts coming up.
But Tom Hanks' son kind of went in
What you do?
on Tekashi 6ix9ine.
The island.
we're gonna talk about that.
Okay. He went in on Tekashi 6ix9ine, Chet Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, and he
you
was
said Chet
Hanks.
C-H-E-T.
Chet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chet
Chet
Hanks.
Hanks is a rapper.
He's a rapper.
Tom Hanks' son.
He's a rapper. He's in the culture, man.
But yeah, so he's kind of in the culture as he's trying to get someone adopted. But he went on social media, and this is what he had to say. He said, "Don't be fooled by social media. That dude is scared shitless.
Facts.
Scared shitless in all caps, but has no choice but to laugh and make light of it because he knows he's a marked man for the rest of his life. Either
Facts.
way." He literally told you on the stand that the gangster image was just a persona to boost my career.
Facts.
Only to get out of talking about upping 100 shots at the chicken spot, and y'all still going for it? Now this is his words. He added, "I'd rather be broke and be able to go where I like, do as I please, than have 100 billion and have to live in hiding 24/7 security team thinking about that all of you idiots calling 6ix9ine the
Facts.
GOAT or a legend."
Facts.
So even though this kind of sideways, what you think is worse, George Zimmerman walking around or 6ix9ine?
George Zimmerman.
6ix9ine.
You think 6ix9ine?
All day. You know why? Because we allow George Zimmerman to walk around.
But see, that's the thing I asked.
The people allow
I
George
just think people.
I'm tired of that bullshit.
I think people talk tough, but I
No,
don't think they really
you
bump
damn
that.
right.
And that's what I think. I think there's a lot of bullshit with people.
So the worst thing about that's what I said. George Zimmerman's case is worse because he don't have security. He's just
And he's
moving.
Yeah, he got this motherfucker.
That's why it's not worse, because all these so-called people
Exactly.
who claim that they would do this because of what George. Do you think if George? Let me ask my family. Now you know us for a brief period of time. If George Zimmerman was to kill one of our family members, would he still be walking around?
Man, that was
Don?
understood. I ain't gotta be explained.
Don?
Nah.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm just gonna leave it at that. Not saying that our family's big and bad, and we live by a different code.
What's
Well,
understood,
so
I ain't
All
gotta
the
be
people in America
explained.
that are talking this George Zimmerman shit,
Listen. So
stop it.
So
Y'all ain't about that life.
But I think the George Zimmerman is. I think it's more.
his
It's
situ-
worse
So
to
you
me.
telling me
as
that,
far as
so
with-
Tekashi 6ix9ine
So to me, for him to be able to still walk around, I think Tekashi can be able to walk around. I don't think it's. I don't think it's because I think George Zimmerman is on another level.
I think this 6ix9ine character is going to be able to walk around because if you really looked at him at the beginning, you could tell he was not about that life.
We already knew he was.
There's a lot of people that
Everybody knew that.
There's a lot of
Everybody knew
people
that.
that couldn't though, Squirrel, and that's the problem about Savage Tab. Listen, there's a lot of people who don't know the real or the fake from a person. All right, they have no understanding about a person playing a character.
No, but listen, when he first did that, The Game.
What up,
I don't know
Mr.
if anybody know about him and his beef. When he first started, his beef with the game started from day one. And because I do my little hip hop story. I was there, live front row. From day one, the Game said that man was fake. He was fugazi. He said, please do not believe what this boy says. And listen, everybody called Game a hater. I've seen
But you already
on social media.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Has the Game ever told us anything that was false? No.
But listen to what I'm saying.
He's not a hater.
Listen. This is to what your point was. What I'm saying is, when you were saying no one knew, I'm saying yes.
No, I said people off the break, they should have known that he was.
Everybody knew that.
Nobody didn't want to hear it.
Everybody knew.
People knew.
They knew.
Didn't want to accept it.
Everybody knew, man. Everybody
The rap
knew.
game now is not the same how it was when y'all grew up.
But listen to what I'm saying.
Like
People
now,
didn't
a
accept
lot of
it.
these kids are rapping somebody else's lifestyle.
But it's-
They've been doing that. They've been doing that.
To the point to where it's
Gangsta can't really rap.
Listen, this is my thing, and this was the biggest problem I had with Tupac. I told you guys this. Tupac was not a thug,
He wasn't.
but Tupac
Got caught up in it.
He had a bunch of motherfuckers in the United States running around screaming thug life just because you get a gun in your hand
And start feeling himself.
That was in his rap.
And he started feeling himself.
I was a skinny little nigga, get my ass whipped. Niggas laughed till the first nigga got blasted. My mama didn't raise me like that. Now, just because my mama raised me a certain type of way don't mean I'm different or better. I was always taught, if you get an ass whooping, you go back out that motherfucker and you fight until that nigga get tired of fighting. Now listen,
This is the problem.
if you as an artist can have millions of people running around thinking they thugs because they get money, drugs, guns, that's what this is right here.
Like,
But listen, what I'm
That's what
saying.
this rap game is.
It's not a but. And the point is, when people start going in on Tekashi 6ix9ine like Chet Hanks and like all the other rap artists, and that's what Don said.
Yeah.
And that's what Don is basically, what I'm thinking, Don is saying that no one is really doing anything about it. They just making more of a fuss. And
Yeah,
it's still,
what they
really doing though?
but what is it?
They making his name even more bigger.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
it's making his name bigger, but it's also people going to say something about it because it makes you look a certain way because you're saying something about it. But do you really believe in that shit? Because you're saying it's like people saying George Zimmerman and this, and they saying
And
it,
then they don't do nothing.
but while they actually marching on that shit,
It's
no.
like-
And that was my comparison.
It's like Meek Mill. Meek Mill is going in on Tekashi 6ix9ine on social media.
But that's on
Somebody going in on him too, though.
It's-
No, like I said, Lil Wayne just made a diss about it.
But
I'm gonna
what
go
I'm
back and listen to it.
Yeah, but what I'm
they're
saying-
only making his name more bigger.
They're giving him more smoke.
But that's
the more smoke you
and the
give
more
him.
his numbers gonna keep going
That's it.
up.
And
That's
listen,
it.
That's why he gonna make his money.
the worst thing about it is, if you really watch his moves,
Hey,
he's literally telling you.
but
that this happened.
here's the thing.
He's telling you
Here's the thing he's doing that makes him kind of smart. He's eating that
feeding
shit.
into it.
He's eating it.
No, but
He's eating that shit because he could just run.
No,
and
that's what I'm saying, Don. He is acting. That's
he
what
eat he eating being a rat. Fuck.
Listen.
Like
But
He
listen,
giving him whatever.
listen,
You call me a
Exactly.
rat, bet I'm gonna be a rat,
listen,
but I still make my
but I-
numbers
Well,
go up.
listen. Chet Hanks that's what Chet Hanks is saying.
Yeah.
He's like the
He's
fact
absolutely
that
correct.
you're giving him that the fact that he's laughing and having fun with the shit is the issue.
there's no way around it, but they ignore that shit, or actually be real, or do what you say you talk about doing. That's basically.
I have never bought a Daniel Hernandez CD. I've never downloaded a Daniel Hernandez.
But nobody,
You know why?
if it's what,
He don't appeal to me.
Right.
His music doesn't appeal to me. The shit that he raps about, his style, I don't want to hear that.
Hey, Dil-
and I'm not saying that he's garbage.
right?
He doing everything everybody else do. He making
Listen,
club bangers,
but people are giving him smoke. They're giving him everything.
He eats everything that.
And understand
and-
this: all the money he's making, he ain't sleeping comfortable, bro. He's sleeping with one eye open. I
mean,
don't give a
yeah,
fuck
he
how much
definitely knows
security
that.
you get, how much money you get.
I mean,
When
like I
you
said,
know you're a rat and you got motherfuckers that want to hit your
Listen,
motherfucking head
on
you don't sleep good.
Instagram,
Right.
the craziest thing about him is he's moved twice in the last week because his own fans, Instagram followers, or whatever social media, whatever you call them, I don't know what the Tekashi 6ix9ine clown crews, whatever they are, but they're actually giving up his address to whenever he moves into a specific neighborhood or home, his fans are looking and giving his address
Listen,
away on his
I had
social
this
media.
conversation a while back with my man, and my man's like, He's not a street nigga, so not snitching is the code of the streets. And being that he's not a street nigga, he had no code to live up to.
Right. So I don't know what y'all expected. I just don't know what people expected.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
He wasn't a street nigga, so like he said in this video, he had no code.
I don't know what people expected, and that's why I don't understand the fuss over. I don't understand the fuss over because
I can't be mad.
What's the fuss over? He wasn't. You already knew that.
I'm not mad at him. I'm mad kinda at the people that are supporting and trying to justify why he did what he did. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Well, he did what he supposed. He did what he had to do to survive. That was just.
You didn't have to. He didn't have to snitch to survive.
Hey, they was gonna kill him. That boy wasn't gonna get out of jail.
They was gonna kill him.
He didn't have to snitch.
Step.
They was gonna kill him.
I mean, people that had kidnapped them.
They was gonna kill him, and they could have killed him.
Listen, he was going to go to.
But he snitched on some people ain't even had shit to do.
But didn't he lick some shots?
No.
Yeah, he started doing shit that
he started living that life.
Yeah, he started living. He started.
You had to make people believe.
Some of the things.
He didn't have to make them believe. They knew he wasn't a part of that shit.
What he was playing an actual wiretap from the guys in his crew.
It was some dudes that was already snitching.
And they told
It was actually dudes that was in there that actually started snitching. They actually pulled the FBI actually pulled him to the. They actually grabbed him.
And they told him, listen to this, and they let him listen to information.
And he went in.
Yeah.
When they told him, yo, your gang,
they didn't give a fuck about him.
They're gonna kill you. They played tapes and actual let him hear conversations. And then he went in. Because
Danny Hernandez, do what you do, bro.
Listen, because
I'm not gonna buy
what people didn't know is he actually separated himself from Treyway and his whole management group before he went to prison.
Yeah, because he was separated.
The FBI came to him and said, "Yo, these boys has been fucking you over, and they plan on killing you."
Treyway. Y'all rolling Treyway?
No, Treyway is who they against.
No, I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, it was a situation where he had to save it.
Hold on, real quick.
Alpo
is proof. He's street nigga. He's street nigga. Alpo's actually street nigga. He walking around. He walking around.
Delve, understand this. This is
times have changed. The era is over.
Today's society.
He says the era is over.
They're glorifying rats. It's okay to tattletale on a nigga.
People been ratting, man.
They've been doing it, but they also was getting their motherfucking head hit too.
Yeah, they would hit you like. Yeah.
I mean, but listen, the other thing we have to understand is it's not like you said. Like
the mob motherfuckers, they knocking your shit off.
Listen, this is what I was saying. Listen.
He actually.
And this is what I wanted to say from the beginning when I was saying my comment on game. It is guys who, because Whack 100 also recently went on his little IG chat and said something that, like I always said, for them to allow him to see that much and get that much involved, knowing who he was,
they worried about that life people. They
made a big mistake.
The big mistake is the dude was a paycheck. And they just like we said, we started this other day. You got your goons, you know what I'm saying? Like he's the paycheck, and everybody should have been. He shouldn't have been out there doing that shit. They know he wasn't about that.
I'm not in the mafia, but even in the mafia, you would have a mafia
ATM demon is in the building.
In the mafia, you might have a son. You have a son that the father looks at him and say, "Look, I know this ain't in you. This lifestyle is not for you." He be like, "Dad, I want to be on the mission." No, take your ass to college and you're gonna become a lawyer. That way.
And then you got some of them kids that you look at and you say, "That nigga nuts."
You know what I'm saying?
He bought that life.
So in the mafia, I mean, so when you look at that situation,
you gotta be a special type motherfucker to be really about that life.
Right. If you know that guy's not about that life,
purpose in the street.
Right. Why don't put him in that type of situation where he had that much information on what you were doing? They made
What's
a
up, cuz?
And they all made a mistake, and he did what he had to do to save his life, but his life is constantly. And this is another thing about the situation with Tekashi that he's going to have to realize as he gets older. The more you antagonize people, the more someone will have a point to prove. And the worst thing about it might not even be a street nigga. It might be some kid from the suburbs.
Lil Dre in the building.
It might be some kid from the suburbs
What's up, Dre?
who shoot you, who really think he represents the thug life. This is the irony of the world we live in. 6ix9ine, not saying that anything happened to him, but he can have something seriously happen where somebody shoots him or makes an attempt on his life, and it will be just somebody trying to get a name. not even associated with the issue. So, you know,
but that's the world that we're in now, though, bro. Motherfuckers will not hit his head because of what he did.
Just to
they
get
don't
a
hit
name.
his head to get some homage and some clout.
Just to say that they took
to
out
say that they
6ix9ine.
did it.
Or they took it.
Man.
You know, so, you know, listen.
I just don't know if they care about that no more. Back in the day, I don't think they care about that clout no more.
Back in the days, he wouldn't have. Yeah, it would have been over, man.
There was another thing I heard. I don't
that.
know if it's true. They said that Jay-Z's Rock Nation management has been working along with Tekashi 6ix9ine's management to kind of hash out some kind of distribution thing through Tidal.
Jay gonna follow the money. This man,
he knows where the money is.
He's gonna continue to.
I have to do some research on that. I don't think he was. I personally don't think he was, because he don't necessarily need to work with him to.
No. I'm not saying not Jay-Z himself. I'm just saying his man, because you know he has his management.
If his manager pick him up, Jay gonna touch some of that money.
So you know,
I don't think Jay want anything. I mean, especially with the shit he just had to put up with the NFL. I don't think he want that.
I don't know.
I don't think he want that stain. Yeah, I think
Jay-Z,
I'm not sure.
listen, Jay-Z said in a rap once,
Nigga, billionaire.
he
anyway.
said, you gotta admire me from 4 fiends away. He will still keep that hustle mentality of, I don't have to deal with you directly to get that money from you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's it. And he said it in the song. I forgot the name of the song, but it was a line said, nowadays you gotta admire me from 4 fiends away. If you don't know what that means, I ain't gonna tell you too much. I ain't in the streets, but I know street lingo. But you can understand what he's saying. So Jay-Z might not be the man sitting next to the man, but he might be the man sitting next to the man, sitting next to the man, sitting next to the goddamn man. You understand what I'm saying? But hey, Tekashi 6ix9ine, Daniel Hernandez, you made your bed.
Son.
That's not my son, man.
Don first.
You made your bed. You might have to lay in that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
His numbers gonna continue to chart.
Yeah. Hey man, listen. One thing we know is this, right? You can do whatever you want to do in this world. All right. You can love people, hate people, just fuck people over. The one person you're not gonna dodge is up there. You got to answer that dude eventually. So
at the end of the day,
you do what you do, homie. You know what I'm saying?
And let this be a cautionary. I'm always hitting the mic. Fuck it. Let this be a cautionary tale too, to not just people who think they want to live their life. Because
hold on. E. Tyler said y'all need to be 6 feet apart and go Big Blue. Stay safe, y'all, and fuck 6ix9ine.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, I like that. Is Big Blue? Who was that? Is that bum ass Giants?
Hey, hold on. Hey, E. Tyler, who was Big Blue? Hey,
that's Erica Tyler.
Yeah.
Man, you stay off our damn feet with that Giants shit. We don't want to hear about nothing.
But I know,
no bum ass New York.
I said Giant fan.
Yeah. Erica Tyler, you better stop talking to us about this.
But like I said, let this be a cautionary tale to even younger people coming up. Because Tekashi 6ix9ine was someone who, even though he's in a bad situation, he's somewhat blessed. Oh, here we go. Y'all take it left. Don't put that shit on me. Don't even do it. Don't even do it. Don't disrespect me like that. Don't do me like that.
Don't up in the Redskins, man.
Nah.
HTCR,
I like the Skins.
Redskin Nation, man. Stand up.
Y'all about to get me off topic. But anyway, cautionary tales. We're gonna talk about this right quick. A cautionary tale. If you don't think you're gonna be everybody's can be Tekashi 6ix9ine either. Don't go out here living some fake street life, putting yourself in danger
or anything else. Snitch.
Because listen, he was a very lucky man who had who had people with him to make certain moves. You might not be as lucky. You may end up dead or in jail.
I ain't never went to private school.
You know, don't think I'm gonna be Tekashi 6ix9ine and
thing to go to. If you can go to private school, go to private school. You know.
Yeah, but just you know,
we got a lot of our peoples and followers and viewers that are just now tuning in. So you done missed a lot of great show. Go back and check it out on YouTube. Check it out on our page. Fuck your opinion, and stop coming in late.
Yeah,
check out. Come in, man. Y'all missed some good shit, man.
We talk about Boozy,
Little Richard.
And thanks for tuning in regardless.
But we start. Listen, we get started 9 o'clock. CPT 9:20
and 9 o'clock. You
start 9 o'clock. CPT 9:20. But like I said, Tekashi 6ix9ine, cautionary tale. Eat your vitamins. Do your push-ups. Say your prayers. Oh, you know what I want to say about y'all? That was a sneaky move with that fucking. I think the NFL is gonna really kick themselves in the ass fucking with a nigga don't dick ride, don't dick ride. Randy Moss son. I seen that today. Randy Moss son came to the Redskins. Hey, I'm gonna give that up.
Release the video
Yeah, and it's black chicks too. I mean, we don't. If you ain't, I'm sure you seen Tekashi.
That's my son.
That's her golden boy right there.
He gonna continue making money.
Hey, my wife said Biggie went to private school.
Yeah, he did. But Tekashi, I mean, he's always gonna be big.
Hey, Pink Fanny said, great show, guys.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Hey, wifeys was kind of going at it a little bit on the chat room, man.
But he knows what he's doing. He's the guy's just smart. He ain't the ass. He's dumb, but he's a smart asshole. But I think y'all made a good move over the Redskins, man. That shit was sad. And you know, I can't believe the Patriots passed him up, but
well, they called him. They called him.
I like the beat.
No, listen. Tekashi 6'9".
Hey yo, you pull up to the light. Sometime you hear this shit, nigga, go try to turn the shit down. Hey, roll the window up as high as a
The nigga don't listen right me.
And listen, Steph was just talking shit about. I told you, Steph, the music of today's artists will give you a different emotional feeling about them when you go to personal.
She said, "How can she get one of those shirts?"
Hey, the message of your size. We need your size. That's all color size. We get it to you.
Yeah, we might
$30 a shirt. We got it. We gonna get it to you.
Yeah, we might start giving out shirts on the show, man, depending on how we,
I need y'all sizes though.
Hey, you know what?
You got to tune in though. That might.
What we can do? You can have them tune in. If they tune into the last show, when you go back on, they tell us something about the show.
Yeah, and you know what? Now I was just gonna say that. Hey, Savage Tag's got a great idea. What we may start doing, we ain't gonna finalize and put it in concrete because I want to see how focus and how.
See if y'all really paying attention.
To see if y'all really pay attention. We gonna put it together, and we, every other week we might give away a free shirt. See if you watching. We gonna ask.
Or we can get motherfuckers to call, and it'll be a certain.
I need y'all shirt size.
Code.
If you want a shirt, I need your size.
But we want to know.
But we want to know if you focus.
Like
I like to know if they know something from my episodes. If they, what I'm saying, if they are watching or tuning in. Hey, fuck, hey.
All right, y'all, we out, man.
We out, y'all. Stay clean.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube.
Hey, the show will be up on YouTube. It's up on YouTube as soon as this ends.